Hi, I'm Eileen Wyatt, and I'm here today at the Brooks Museum with Desiree Mobid. And Desiree, I understand we're standing in the shipwreck room for a reason.
Oh, we are indeed. We're going to be having a wonderful and fascinating talk this weekend on Sunday, beginning at 2 o'clock. It's Don Ferris who's talking about many of the underwater explorations that he's done and his finds of some shipwrecks under the waters around Cape Cod in this area. Very exciting.
Ooh, it sounds exciting. Now, I understand that Don has been an underwater explorer for over 25 years, and he's trained a lot of divers. Is that correct?
Yes, he has. Long history with this, and especially in this area. Quite recently, they found the Dorothy schooner, which is a 5-masted ship off the coast of Chatham. So we're hoping to get lots of questions about that answered. But it's really a fascinating story. Of course, there have been so many shipwrecks off of Cape Cod. These waters with the shoals and the fog that comes in make for very dangerous passage around this part of the Cape, and many sea captain has been caught up in that, that weather problem and the shallow waters. So they know all about that. But so this should be a very interesting program, and we're really looking forward to it.
Oh, it sounds exciting. Now, do people have to call ahead and reserve a place, or just come on this coming Sunday? The date is May 15th. Very good, 2 o'clock.
And it's part of Cape Cod Maritime Heritage Days that's sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce.
Wonderful. Oh, well, I hope to see you all here. It sounds very exciting to see Donald Ferris talk about all of the shipwrecked explorations that he has done here on the Cape off the shoals of Chatham. Thank you, Desiree.
Thank you very much, Eileen.
Hi, I'm Eileen Wyatt, and I'm here today at the Brooks Museum with Brenda Collins, and we're standing in front of these props for a reason. There's going to be a very important talk next Sunday, May 22nd at 2 p.m. here at the museum, and I understand it's your husband, William Collins, that will be speaking on the Civil War.
Indeed, indeed. This is a really wonderful opportunity because, as you know, this year is the first year of the sesquicentennial of the Civil War. So that's 150 years. So for the next 4 years, there will be a lot of events and so forth. And so my husband, William, is very anxious to put on this program. He is a member of the 22nd Massachusetts, which is a very large reenactment group.
This is the hat that they wear?
Yes, you can see. Company D, the 22nd Massachusetts, and this is the Corps badge. I think it's the 5th Corps, and this had two meanings, actually. This was good because the generals could identify who was their team, so to speak, but also if they should fall in battle, and many did, this helped to identify them.
I see. Now, who were the soldiers? Were they immigrants that came to this country, and how did they get involved in fighting for the war?
Well, a lot of them were. As a matter of fact, in the northern armies, there were more immigrants than there were native-born.
Oh.
But they all volunteered for different reasons. There was, of course, the draft.
Even back then,
Even back then, there were inducements sometimes. There were bounties that were paid. Also, regiments were raised by local dignitaries. For instance, the 22nd Massachusetts was raised by Senator Henry Wilson, who, as you know, went on to become General Grant, or President Grant's vice president. And so this regiment was raised from all over the Boston area, and this is the unit that my husband represents. And this unit it's interesting. They were in every major battle, I think. They were at Antietam, Gettysburg, the Wilderness, Chancellorsville, Petersburg. For 3 years, they were on the march.
And your husband, William, is going to be giving the talk on the life of Billy Yank, the common soldier. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. Did you ever wonder how if these men had volunteered for 3 years, how they would live in wool, fighting in the South, carrying their own tents, cooking their own food, mending.
Unimaginable.
Yeah,
Mending?
mending.
Look at
This
this.
is called, they called this a housewife, and almost, isn't that sexist? But almost every soldier had one of these, some extra buttons, because they couldn't just send their stuff out to the dry cleaner in between battles.
No.
No.
There wasn't one.
That's right. So they were in charge of their own mending. They were in charge of their own cooking.
Wow.
And this,
I see you have something here, a
this
pot.
is something that would hang on a soldier's uniform.
Oh.
This is called a mucket.
Oh, a mucket.
A mucket. And you can see it's been scorched by the fire a little bit. You could drink your coffee from this. You could boil your beans, your stew, whatever. And so this is one article that most soldiers would try and buy because they had to be on the move. They were marching, and they were in charge of their own food,
Wow.
cooking their own food.
Now, I'm wondering, were they paid to be a soldier, or?
They were, yes,
Okay.
very miserably.
Yeah, I can
yes,
imagine.
Yes, but
So
it
they
was-
had to have a love of what they were doing.
Right. And this, of course, was one of the inducements for people who had newly arrived here in the United States. Not only were they very proud of their adopted country, but perhaps they would receive a bounty, and they would be assured of receiving a little pay at least.
Yes.
And some of them fought together. I think one of the richest sources of information that we have about the ordinary soldier come from the letters that they wrote home. And there are a lot of wonderful books.
Yes, I see that you
Here's
have
one.
one here.
Well, this is just one of many. Irish Green and Union Blue. You know, Massachusetts had quite a few Irish regiments. And
Yes,
there
I know.
was the famous Irish Brigade. And these are the Civil War letters of a man named Peter Welsh.
And your husband incorporates these letters in his talk?
Information from the letters,
Okay.
yes, because they talk to their loved ones about what is happening and what are they doing and how are they moving and how are they coping.
With the harsh winters and...
Yes, and the mud marches, and you can just imagine.
Oh.
Plus, they had horses all around. Horses were actually more important to keep healthy than the humans, you know. This one...
That's sad but true, I'm sure.
Well, yes. This one is Germans in the Civil War, which is fascinating. There were more ethnic Germans than any other ethnicity in the
Really?
Civil War. Yes, they were.
Interesting.
Many had come because of the 1848 revolution. They had come, or the takeover by Bismarck. They came here in large numbers to Pennsylvania, but to almost every state, and they were usually very anti-slavery.
Oh.
They felt this was a real abomination. And some of the Irish, of course, were hoping to get some training in the Civil War so that they could go back and take care of the British.
Yes. I know a bit about that history, being of Boston Irish descent myself. Well, your husband's talk sounds absolutely fascinating. You certainly have a wonderful knowledge of it yourself, and your passion and excitement is showing, and I'm sure that your husband has the same passion and excitement for this.
Oh, he does.
Yes.
Oh, he's spellbinding.
Oh, I hope that all of you that are watching this can come on May 22nd at 2 o'clock here at the Brooks Museum and listen to William Collins tell about the life of the ordinary common soldier of the Civil War. Thank you so much for your time, Brenda.
You're so welcome.